So, I mean, you might have seen this chart going around.
Stats.
We got to talk about this.
Okay.
Okay. Like, you guys know what this chart is? It's
The U.S. presidential election popular vote.
for 2012, 2016, 2020, and 2024, Republican and Democrat voter counts. You see that one big outstanding blue line that's way
kind of
above?
stands out.
That's Joe Biden.
most popular
that was the
president in
margin
US
by which
history?
he won. That is 20 million more votes than any other Democratic candidate got on either side of him. This chart is going around, and even Democrats are saying, like, did we rig 2020? Because when you look at that, who showed up for Obama the second time, who showed up for Clinton, and then suddenly 81 million people voted for Joe Biden, and then it drops back down to the average who showed up for Harris. That doesn't add up. Those numbers don't make sense. That math is not mathing.
Just to this, because it's going to be attenuated a little bit, and I might have jumped the gun in that this chart was tallied before the final popular vote is in, so there's still some votes coming from California. It looks like Kamala will hit 70 million.
It's not going to be 20
no, but the
million
bottom
more
line,
people.
it's going to be a 10 million vote differential from and it's not just that it's a differential. It's that is an inorganic spike.
Yeah.
The Republicans are going to say, well, Republicans got many more in
that's
2020
Trump.
as well.
That's Trump.
Yeah, but it's commensurate nonetheless with 2024 to some extent. There's going to be 10 million, give or take. And some people are going to say, okay, RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, they come over to Republicans, they take 3 million with them. There's a population growth. Let's add another 3 million. That's 5 million. That will be
I'll give them five.
absolutely
And the other
unaccountable.
thing is that Trump made people that were disenfranchised and they never voted before. For example, the Amish. In
The Amish were on their horse and buggy.
They came through like a lot of rural people that never voted before. They felt heard. So like I understand that Trump brought new voters that were in the mix, but that number is weird. That's all I want to say.
And speaking of those voters that he brought, I actually went and I pulled some of the exit polls. NBC compiled this whole document, and it's fascinating to read through because of the numbers they found. So let's go through some of these voter groups and see who helped us get where we are. So starting off, they have it broken down by race and gender. So 42% of men that they surveyed in 7 key states voted for Democrats.
Yikes.
55% of men in those states voted for Republicans. No surprise there. It's almost exactly the inverse for women. 53% voted for Democrats, 45% voted for Republicans. But then if you break it down by race, it gets much more interesting. Because you start to see, for example, down towards the bottom, Native Americans voted 65% for Trump.
Because they care about this country.
They love casinos, too.
You could say they had some...
Trump loves casinos.
Yeah, you could say they had some reservations about Harris.
Oh, what? Native Americans love casinos. Donald Trump.
Well, it is. There's a number of good points in there. First of all, I didn't think of that one. I would imagine maybe bona fide true blood of Native Americans are still a little pissed off with their Pocahontas liar of a Democrat, Elizabeth Warren. In Arizona, they were going a lot more for Trump than had been anticipated. It could be because they actually have an appreciation for the for their own personal well-being.
Damn right.
That goes above and beyond what the white liberal thinks is good for the natives.
I think so. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah. So, I mean, continuing with the race and gender, when you look at the... Basically, white men are, once again, the most reliable voting group. Those evil. No surprise there.
We need to make more of those.
Yeah. and this is what I want to point out, because this was the first election cycle in my lifetime where I've ever seen white men acknowledged as a voting group. Sure, it was by the Democrats, and they spent the entire time denigrating that base, trotting out people like Josh Gad as the symbol of masculinity.
Oh, God. Josh
yeah.
Gad, he's an actor.
Exactly.
You don't know.
There you go.
You're too young.
But white men continue to be the reliable voting base for the Republicans, white women as well. So when the Republicans engage in the identity politics and basically burn their support with their base to try to cater to minority groups, like, it's only going to hurt them long term. Though the point is to build it into something where everybody can come have a seat at the table.
Connor, I have a question for you, teacher. I know we discussed this before we went live. On those charts, I have not seen the Jewish demographic.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Okay,
that's
fine.
our religious section.
Hey, that's coming, brother.
I don't want to touch anything that's too dangerous to touch, but within the white male group do they include Jewish
Oh,
people?
no, well, they have two different charts. One that includes Jewish people as white people and one that doesn't. So
how this goes.
it's as schizophrenic as the actual Jewish identity group. So if we could go back to the last slide real quick, there's one other thing I need to point out. Because right down there at the bottom, suburban whites by sex. White suburban women, 46% Democrat, 53% Republican.
Whoa.
That means in these key states, Kamala Harris lost suburban white women.
That's impressive.
That is like the most liberal Democrat group imaginable. For her to underperform with that group in the swing states shows how Trump won the popular mandate. Because if you can't get suburban white women to vote for you as a Democrat, you have done something wrong. So for every Joy Reid who comes out and says, "Oh, it's the
Like your
uneducated
husband.
white women," no, they just think Kamala sucks.
We haven't gotten to the Latina vote yet.
No.
Okay.
The Latinx.
Latinx.
Don't say
Back
that.
up on the previous slide one more time. We have Latino men, Latino women, pretty split. Latino men overwhelmingly, or not overwhelmingly, but pretty significantly for Trump.
Yeah.
Latino women pretty significantly for Harris. But it shows that in these minority groups, Republicans had record support. Even if they didn't win the category, they had way more support than they did even last year, which again shows Harris sucks.
Is there an aggregate Latino vote that doesn't break
There
it down
is
by sex?
two slides
Because
before.
I don't know if you I can't aggregate those two together because you don't know if more men than women Latina voted.
This one right here. This will show for Hispanic and Latino, 52% Democrats, 46% Republicans,
That's amazing.
which that's
That's amazing.
almost even.
Yeah, but what is that an increase from the last election? Because I know it's like double digits. That's incredible. That's effectively a 50-50 split, and yet you have these prick, arrogant Democrat liberals saying that minorities don't know what's good for them.
Yeah. When we called Florida for Trump, and just a quick shout out to our decision desk team that we had at our event.
The war room.
I had the privilege of sitting in the war room heading up research, and we had a guy named Lester, who is one of the most accurate pollsters in the country, helping Amy and Tom.
Brand new
call
talent,
states.
by the way.
Yeah.
He's good. He's
First
really
selection,
good. I
great.
like Lester a lot.
We were able to call, I think, like 4 or 5 states.
Five states
before the
anyone
media.
else.
Incredible. That's awesome.
But when we called Florida,
so-
we also I made a note of it. Trump won the most heavily Puerto Rican county in Florida.
Weird.
So like, you called them garbage. They're never going to
And he
vote for
didn't
you.
call
Did
them
not
any-
work.
Oh no, and Florida's got 500,000 Haitians who I guess also voted. I don't know what the stats are on that, but they did not all vote against Donald Trump.
I don't know. He promised them a car in every garage and a cat in every pot. So
So
he was able to secure their vote that way.
I want to bring more credit. What an amazing night we had. We were #1 on streaming, like
PVD
in
podcast.
PVD
That was so
podcast
much
on
fun.
YouTube. This guy right here, even though I make fun of him, he managed to pull off the most amazing highlight video. Everyone was like, "How do you guys do this?"
is it on YouTube by itself?
It is
It
on
is.
YouTube by itself.
Go
I
check
uploaded it.
the Value Payment main channel.
And we just had so much fun. It was absolutely.
It's
thrilling.
always good when you like, because I not to get off your point, because I know you want to go kind of.
No, I wanted to talk about the event.
Oh,
as
okay.
well,
Oh,
'cause
that's so perfect because
spectacular for
well,
everybody.
what
involved.
and I want people to understand this. Viva, what you've done for these past 4 years, what we've done on the Unusual Suspects, what the people at home that watch, that understand, to the people behind the scenes, to all the podcasts, to Pat interviewing Trump, to all the work from everybody in this building, Ruby, Jake, everybody, Andres, Ev, the whole freaking crew, Jeremy. Everything that we've done to put out the truth, to let people know that this is what this side is doing to what Trump wants to do. That's how we got to this point. That's how we got to the point where those demographics are like, oh my God, you have no idea how many people have messaged me and they're like, dude, I was kind of over here. Look at Adam's a perfect example,
What a
bro.
beautiful story.
Adam voted for Joe Biden. He voted for Hillary Clinton, and now this election, he voted for Trump. And it's because of the message that people like you, that people like this company, it's shedding light, and it's sifting through the BS. And now that I'm happy that there's CNN, MSNBC.
But
That's
Vinny,
the one
Vinny,
thing I'm mad about Trump's victory. They were almost done. Now they're back.
I saw a Kamala ad that suggested that the likes of Adam would tell you they're voting for Trump. Hey, make America great, and then get there and.
But I actually saw it. He actually did it. Yeah, he recorded it
That's
illegally.
a felony.
Felony.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't do that. He didn't do that.
Hey,
Yeah.
you saw the ad. It was white dudes for Kamala. They were going in to vote and they were like supposed to be MAGA dads.
You ready to make America great?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then he goes in and changes his mind because his daughter goes, "Hey, daddy," and he goes, "Man, she should probably get raw dogged in abortion." In the future."
And I wanna take 1% credit for radicalizing Adam. I used to, because he doesn't drive.
You drive,
his
yeah.
So I used to drive him. I've drove him for a year, like after
Miami, back and forth,
Miami back and forth. I was like, Adam, come on, you can't stand for this, Adam.
Yeah.
You can't. So
Move the needle.
Adam doesn't drive.
Adam hasn't had a car since 2010.
2005.
But he had a license at one point.
He had a license.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So,
He Ubers everywhere.
that's cool. He's good for the crowd.
But what a beautiful night. It was absolutely wonderful. The energy there, like we have everyone writing about the night that we had.
You know what I just got? This is, you guys want to trip out? I just got a message from somebody from London, that just said, Vinny, you made the Times of London. And they're talking the stories about Barron and how he helped, and the thing says, the financier and podcaster Patrick Bet-David pulled through the gates of Mar-a-Lago in his convertible. A comedian called Vincent O'Shannell was in the passenger seat with his long hair wildly tousled from from the drive.
That's accurate. I'm sorry.
Sounds like a Harlequin novel.
Wildly tousled? What a tousled?
His
what the hell does that even
muscles
mean?
bulging and glistening in the
Yeah.
sun.
But it was-
Oiled
Vinny,
up.
by the way, this is a funny story. I'm with my daughter in Target, and then I'm walking, and someone looks at me and goes, "I know you," and it's like, "Oh, from my channel." It's like, "I see you on the Unusual Suspects." I'm
No
like,
way.
Well, I'm not doing a good
No
job.
way.
It's
funny.
hilarious. He
By
loves
the
the
way,
show. And
subscribe to this guy.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
Oh yeah, so yeah, definitely subscribe to Viva. Viva, your channel is it Viva Fry?
That's called Viva Fry.
Viva Fry.
Viva
Look at
Fry.
this shirt.
The
Go to
only
the
shirt
channel.
I wear.
And since we're at it, subscribe to the Unusual Suspects. A lot of you guys are just watching and don't subscribe.
Jokes aside, and what you said about everyone doing this job, we literally put the gravestone on mainstream media.
Love it.
I got messages from people from the platforms I can't say,
Yeah.
you know, like the whole information. You saw
I saw it.
I got phone calls that it's not even close. It's not even
killing it.
close.
Yeah.
So, and I might have broke a record. I was sitting there time coding for 8 hours.
And no peeing, no nothing.
No peeing, no nothing. Pat beat me to it. He didn't pee a single time.
Pat
I
didn't
peed
pee at
once.
The Pavlovsky, the CEO of Rumble, tweeted out. I've never
Chris.
seen that. Yeah, Chris. He retweets out a steep 26% decline in TV ratings over 2020. Everyone is scratching their heads, wondering how and why. I'll be frank. Rumble ate their lunch. Oh, there's a typo in it, Chris.
Yeah,
Rumble ate their lunch for dinner. It's these types of podcasts that people understand. It's not just that they're independent and therefore more trustworthy because they're not bought by pharma
Corporate,
ad
yeah.
house. It's because there's accountability in that if independent podcasts get it wildly wrong,
You're done.
You're done.
You're
Like,
finished.
You don't get to like hide, come
No.
back in a week and then
Nope,
never
the
happens.
market destroys
The market
you.
destroys you. And so reliability is baked into the say popularity or success of the channels, and it's why PBD is amazing. It's why independent media really did. I mean, shape this election. It's why people are just turning off the CNN crap.
Nice. Go ahead, Connor. You have more?
Yeah, I do have more, but I'm glad we got to talk about the event because, you know, getting to be there at the War Room desk,
Oh.
feet away from where you guys were keeping people entertained for 7-8 hours, spectacular.
The biggest
amazing
stream on
performance.
YouTube.
Like it's like nothing we've ever seen. But if we can go back to my last chart here real quick, I want to touch on Viva's point.
Boom. Is that it?
One more back. It's the religious affiliation. Yeah, here we go. So, Protestant Christians went to Republicans. No surprise there. Catholic, same thing. Slightly slimmer margin, but you know
No, because we have one roadblock, something that Trump supports that we don't like.
yeah, exactly. And evangelical Christians should also be skeptical of Trump's abortion stance.
And we
but
did call him out publicly.
We
so-
did. But here's the stat that just blew my mind to
The
read.
Jews.
78% of the Jewish population voted Democrat.
How? Why? David, you're Jewish. Talk to us.
Well, apparently I'm not on the ins with that side of it to explain it. I don't understand.
I don't-
because it's a gripe that I can bring up myself because even if it's from a self-interested perspective, like a lot of Jews, it's where they want America to defend Israel. Okay, even if that's the case, I'm not going to say that you're voting against your own interests, but just as a matter of fact, you are, because a Kamala Biden administration has been worse for Israel and peace in the Middle East than anything. It's why I forget the Muslim cleric out of I want to say
Detroit?
Minnesota,
Michigan?
Dearborn.
on stage.
Dearborn,
Yeah, it comes out and says like, look, even if we don't like Israel, or he didn't say it this way, but peace in the Middle East is good for both Jews, Palestinians,
Obviously.
Arabs, Muslims, everybody, Christians. So even that it doesn't make sense. I don't understand it. It drives me nuts. We have arguments among family, and I'm like, how can you do it? How can you be so stupid? 80%. Monolithic is not a good thing. It's not an indication that they're wildly right. It's an indication that there's some sort of aggregate brainwashing. Maybe it's because of influence, lobbying. I don't know. It's got to change. There was homogeneity, ideological homogeneity among the black population for a while in terms of voting Democrat, which has wildly changed. Same thing for Latinos. It's about time that the Jewish vote stops being monolithically pro-Democrat.
After the results, and I think you guys need to do a Jew panel, because Dave Smith, I love you guys. I love your opinions. Then you have Ben Shapiro, that's super base, and then you have this wild liberal side of the Jews that will vote against. I hate saying voting against your own interests because it's very condescending, but I think you guys need to do something live and sit down and talk what's going on.
I would like to get a diehard Jewish, one who identifies as Jew. I don't talk about identifying as Jewish because, I don't. It doesn't guide my politics. But it irritates me to no end. This monolithic voting block doesn't make any sense.
David, and the fact that, guys, them calling everybody, Jewish people including, that were at Madison Square Garden, Nazis, and Hitler diminishes the weight of what Hitler actually did. It makes it like a throwaway word. That word Hitler now doesn't have the power that it used to be because they throw it around. And they're calling you Jewish people at Madison Square Garden Nazis and a Hitler worshiper. How the fuck are you voting for this side?
So funny. Literally that article, I think it was from the Planet, whatever, calling them Nazis, came out at the exact same time when a Jewish guy was talking on stage at the Madison Square Garden.
First of all, the amount of times I get called a Nazi on Twitter is ironic. I love the fact that some people don't actually know, of my origins. But it doesn't make sense. I don't know what it takes to change, and we'll see if it changes next time. But it's let's see. The only thing is it's 2% of the population.
As a general takeaway from this charts that you just showed, they disgust me. I'm so tired of this general racism. We should be all Americans, and that's the thing. Are you for America? Or are you against America? This racial breakdowns, this religious breakdowns. I think everyone should be on the same page. That's what this country is so special because this country was founded on an idea of freedom. All right, and everyone that can get with the program, and pursue happiness, pursue freedom of speech and everything. They should be in the same page. We shouldn't be doing this breakdown in 2024. I don't understand. It makes me mad.
It's interesting for targeting demographics. The irony, and I think this is reflected in the Latino vote this time around, the underlying racism that goes into saying, Latinos, how could you do this? You should be happy that we have open borders. We're letting in your brethren. You should welcome them. That's basically what they're saying to them. And then they don't understand it when they get their asses handed
you don't understand the hatred towards our legal Latinos, towards illegal Latinos.
Oh, they hate them.
You, Humberto, as a legal Chilean immigrant, your brethren are the MS-13 gang members coming out of El Salvador.
I don't want them here. And I said it a bunch of times on the show. I don't want them here because I had to go through legal stuff. You're going through it.
Through the wazoo. That's the least of the concerns. But
being perfect, never having a felony, never having a parking ticket. I need to be on my A game. And then these guys just walk in. We don't like them. We don't like socialism. We came here and every Latino comes here. They get with the program real quick. You see Mexican guys, they go to LA, they start working. First thing they get is a pickup truck, American flag, a lawn, and they get with the program immediately.